Third down and 20.
Let's move on into picks for this week, baby. This week's picks, what everyone hopefully has been waiting for, because free picks. Who doesn't love free picks? And we are going to start it off. I'm going to start off with my dog of the week because I've got a lot to say for this dog of the week. So just bear with me here, all right? And my dog of the week is going to be the Saints. I still think the spread is +5. Is it? Let me check that real quick. It was +5 yesterday. It's +4 now. Dang, odds are getting a lot worse because I took them +5.5 right when I saw the line. For a few reasons. Let's get started. First off, the Saints as a dog are just really good against the spread. So since 2016, as an underdog, the Saints are 16-6-1, covering the spread 72.7% of the time. As an away team, they are 24-10-1, covering the spread 70.6% of the time. And as an away underdog, they've covered the spread 12-5-1, 70.6% of the time. So, basically, Saints are very good as a dog against the spread and on the road. I think the other thing to look at is how well Drew Brees has been playing. Even without Emmanuel Sanders and slant boy Michael Thomas, Drew Brees' completion percentage and passer rating have been very high. Against Carolina, he had an 80.56 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns for 118 passer rating. Against Chicago, a better defense on the road and an overtime win, 75.61% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 110 passer rating. Once again, without Slant Boy and Emmanuel Sanders. So coming into this week, currently, the Bucs defense is 6th in opponent quarterback passer rating this season. So they are a good defense against other teams' quarterbacks, but I think that Drew Brees is in a little bit too much of a groove where his impact on the game is going to outweigh the Buccaneers' defensive players' impact on the game. But for some more analysis, let's take it over to the film. Bang time, go live. Here we go, baby. So there are a few things I want to highlight, and this is the first one. So in the Bucs and Saints first matchup, the Saints actually kind of surprised me a little bit. They ran a lot than I initially thought they were. And here's an example of it here. So they're just in cover one man. You got the safety at the top of the screen, just reading the eyes of Brady, and then man coverage across the board. And this is a play that Bruce Arians and the Bucs love to run. Just hitch seam. You got double hitches on the outside with slot seams. And this is going to be where the addition of Antonio, because you already have a great matchup, if you like it, Marshawn Lattimore one-on-one against Mike Evans. Well, guess what? You have Godwin over here. You have Mike Evans. Guess who this guy turns into? Antonio Brown. So now, in this is the one thing I'm scared of in this matchup is now you already have great receivers, but now it's okay. There's no good matchup if you're a defense. I'm pretty sure this is Demario Davis right here in man coverage. That is not good if you have Antonio Brown in the field. You do not want Demario Davis covering Antonio Brown in man coverage. But the Bucs actually do get a win on this play because Mike Evans is able to draw a pass interference. I kind of disagree with the call a little bit, but this is something as the Saints, if you're going to line up and play man coverage this week, this is something that you're going to have to be able to stop. These long gashing plays that Bruce Arians likes to call up. And with the addition of Antonio Brown, I'm not sure you're going to be able to as much, which is, it's surprising. You're saying, oh, well, why are you picking the Saints if you're just going to trash them with your first highlight? I just think at the end of the day, you're not going to see as much man coverage, but you're still going to see some man coverage. And I still think that the Saints are going to be able to win. I don't think the addition of Antonio Brown is going to be enough to result in like a 14-point swing for the Buccaneers. Especially because it's going to be his first game back in 2 years, I believe it is, something like that.
Not
He's
going to
not
be
going
able
to
to
have a
fill the
full
whole game.
grasp of the playbook. Um, so I also think that the Saints are going to play a little bit more zone here. It's just you really can't zone Brady, which is really tough. But let's go to the other side of the ball real quick. I want to show you guys a couple plays because I actually think the more important matchup is the Saints offense against the Buccaneers defense, not the Saints defense against the Buccaneers offense. And that is because of two players. Not only is the Buccaneers defensive line filled with studs, Jason Pierre-Paul's got like 6.5 sacks on the year. Is it Shaquille Barrett? Yeah, they got Barrett, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
always forget him. I mix him up with a couple other pass rushers for some reason. But you got him. He's got like another 5 sacks in the season. Ndamukong Suh,
Yeah, he's a beast.
just absolute beast of a defensive tackle. Now you don't have
Vita
this guy
Vea.
here, Vita Vea, anymore. He's going to be replaced with Snacks Harrison, but still another good run defender. But this is what you get out of Sean Payton that other teams don't have the luxury of. He is an absolute master at scheming plays, especially in the power run game and short passing game. And here's an example of why. This man right here is Devin White. Devin White, you can make an argument that he is the best linebacker in the NFL in his second season. He's that good. He's that fast. He has that good of instincts. But this is what Sean Payton is able to do to a guy like him. So, up until this point, the Saints have just been going with a lot of power runs, just power, power, power with Latavius Murray, a couple little pitches here and there with Alvin Kamara, but it's just been power, power, power. This is a 1st and 6 right here off a penalty. And you see here, Drew Brees just opens up the left. There's this big old gap right here that Levante David is going to want to fill. And if you look, if we put the slow on, if you see, Devin White just takes that little half a step towards this hole. But you can see here, Drew Brees just opens up to the left. There's that big gap, but they're actually going with a split zone run here to the right. And just that little half a step. And this is all Sean Payton here. Sean Payton and this offensive staff sees this kind of stuff on film and implements this into their run game for a reason. This little hole is created right here for a reason. After that little half a, I was pointing on the wrong screen. For a reason, and it leaves Alvin Kamara one-on-one with 23 defensive back for a touchdown. That's just brilliant play design by Sean Payton. And I think this was the more popular example of this. This is coming off a 2-minute warning right before halftime. You want to see brilliant play design. Just keep your eye on Devin White right here. I'm not sure I even need to explain anything for this play because this is just so beautiful. Like this, the first off, this play was stolen by Sean McVay a couple of weeks later. I believe the Rams used it against the Eagles in the red zone to score. But just look how many times Devin White's head turns. Okay, we're going to react to this initial fake play action over here to the left. Oh, I'm going to turn around to get to my responsibility. I see Alvin Kamara and a whole lot of action coming over here to the right. Let me turn my head to get to my pass responsibility. Oh, crap. Look, all these offensive linemen are leaking out to the left. Actually, it's a screen pass. There's nothing but daylight over here. The Bucs are lucky the Saints didn't score on this play. And while the line has been reacting to what I've been saying towards the Saints, this is just what you get out of Sean Payton that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. And it doesn't matter who you have on the offense, whether it's Emmanuel Sanders or Michael Thomas. This is why Sean Payton has been viewed as one of the most influential coaches in the league. He's willing to do all these little wacky plays and just in general innovation that you don't get out of other coaches. Maybe Andy Reid, I guess McVay, but McVay is more of a guy that steals plays. And this is why I really like this line at both the spread and just dog of the week money line. I'm taking the Saints to win this game, and for the Bucks, I need to see it to believe it, man. Until you can beat the Saints, you're not going to be the king of this division. They weren't able to week 1. I don't think they're going to be able to this week.
Yeah, I'm on the same with you too. I'm also on Saints +4 money line, and I think that's just a very good bet. I'm same with the Bucks. Like I get the 6-2 start, but I don't think you're the king of this division. I still think the Saints run this division, sadly. But you
Sadly,
know,
as the Falcons fan.
yeah, sadly. But going on to me, I got a different little dog of the week. I think mine might be a little surprised because I'm a fan of who they're playing, but I'm jumping on to a train, man. I'm taking Dolphins +4.5 and money line dog of the week. Last dog of the week, I took who did I take? Who did I take? Oh, I took the
You took the
49ers, got blown
Niners.
out. Yeah, terrible. 0-1 start. We're gonna fix it this week. Last week, I took the Dolphins +3.5 against the Rams. Everybody called me crazy. Everybody's just like, Ryan, what are you doing? Why are you taking the Dolphins? Tua's first start, they're not going to do anything. Didn't matter. Tua could have thrown 2 passes that game and they win that game. Defense has been showing up for Miami lately, and the special team played extremely well against the Rams. And if you look at the Dolphins this season against the NFC West, they've beaten the Rams, they crushed the 49ers, and they should have beaten the Seahawks
They
if they
could have
could
beaten the
just,
Seahawks, definitely,
yeah,
because they had so
if
many
they,
field goals instead of touchdowns.
yeah, you just get the ball in the end zone a couple times, you win that game. And then people will be like, well, Ryan, like the Dolphins haven't seen a quarterback like Kyler Murray's a different beast. Well, we've compared Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray, compared Kyler Murray to Russell Wilson. They did a good job against Russell Wilson, good enough to be in that game to win that game. And Kyler Murray's not Russell Wilson yet. But let's look at some stats. The Dolphins had the best against the spread since week 5 of last season. They're 14-5. Now something's got to give because the Cardinals are second on that list at 12-5 and 2. And we look at these teams like the Dolphins, who are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 road games. And I just like how the Dolphins are teetering here as the stats are looking in their favor. They're a hot team coming in here, and now I see this being a grueling game, and people were going to say, well, the Cardinals are coming off a bye, they're well rested, came off a big win, the Seahawks. I think not only they're not going to get carried by their defense this week, I think Tua is going to shine. I think this is when we see Tua really pop out, make some plays, and show them why that he was the number 5 overall pick
Mm-hmm.
and why he is the future of this franchise and why the Dolphins are going to be contenders. Now, you got to remember, the Dolphins can easily win this division. It is up for grabs. Belichick and Brady aren't together anymore. The Bills are running into a little rough patch. The hottest team in this division right now is the Dolphins. They are playing some lights out. And they are 4-2 against the spread this season as an underdog. Also, and they've given up 17 points or less in their last 3 wins. So they're going to win. Their defense is going to show up. And it is tough to neutralize Kyler Murray, but Kyler Murray has shown us a little bit this year that he's been a little turnover happy here and there. I don't really trust their running game too much. And the Dolphins defense is better than Seahawks defense, plain and simple. So I like the way this team is going, and I think this could be a sneaky pick. Now, I don't think it's as much as a lock as like the Saints money line is for the Bucks, but I think I'm gonna ride the Dolphins, man. I rode them last week. I hate that I have to bet against the Cardinals, but I'm just gonna stick with all the stats saying like this is the best team to bet against the spread, and I'm just gonna sprinkled their money line as I think the Dolphins are going to come out on top 28-24. Tua is 2-0 as a starter, and the Dolphins are looking to win this division.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this game because I initially had the Cardinals coming in, but I think you're right. I think this is actually a matchup for the Dolphins. I think I'm still gonna ride with the Cardinals -4. I really don't like the pick. I actually think it's a bait. You can see. I think the sharps are on the Dolphins because you're right. the Dolphins' defense has been pretty shut down recently, which people have kind of been sleeping on. Those D backs, now that they're healthy, Xavier Howard,
Seeing a
you
different
have
change.
what is it, Jones on the other
Byron
side. Then
Jones.
you have Noah Igbenogany as a slot corner, first round pick. Um, they've been shutting people down. They're a team that loves to play a lot of man coverage. They're just going to line up and say we're more physical than you. And you're completely right. The Cardinals' pass offense has been a little bit shaky. Um, they've had a lot of plays that Kyler Murray just makes, especially running in the red zone, but they've also kind of been shut down in a couple of their games, and their defense has bailed them out a little bit in some scenarios. Um, I think one of the more telling games was against the Lions at home when the Lions came in and kind of just played more physical than the Cardinals were. So I think the one thing I will say about the Cardinals, and we've kind of been saying it every week, is that we have yet to see the Cardinals play a complete football game on both sides of the ball. And coming off the bye week, you don't have Mr. Average, Kenyon Drake. You finally are getting Chase Edmonds the ball. I think that this week we can finally see the Cardinals up against a hot, good opponent play a full football game on all cylinders and win this one by 7 points. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals -4, but easily could be a bait. And I was honestly thinking about switching it to the Dolphins before the episode, but I'm going to stick with my guns here. I'm going to stick with my guns. My next pick, I know you're on this one. I'm actually surprised the line is the other way. I'm taking the Ravens -2. Um, I've been a guy that's been on the Colts a lot. I've taken them almost every week just because I really like the football team. I think their defense is still being underrated. Phillip Rivers has been a lot more hot recently, but the Ravens defense I think is a little bit too fast and too talented for the Colts. Um, Colts offense, while they put up 40 somehow, they put up like 41 or 42 points. I forget because Blankenship was missing field goals out there. I think they're going to be in for a tough time this week. No more T.Y. Hilton. You do get to see Pittman in action, but I don't like this matchup, and I'm surprised that the money does like the Colts. I know they're at home, but I'm taking the Ravens here. They're a good team off a loss. They're a good team on the road, especially against the spread. And I think that Lamar Jackson and that crew are going to show that game against the Steelers that was a winnable game for the Ravens was just a fluke, and they're going to come out here and win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, this is my lock of the week. I love this game. I think we got this game at the perfect time. Ravens coming off that loss against the Steelers, and the Colts blowing out the Lions. So the lines are going to change a little bit, and of course. But I mean, we talk about Lamar Jackson and that he's just not having the same year as MVP year, and this is a tough defense, just like he faced last week. But I think this is when Lamar Jackson can kind of turn it around this week. Just got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. Really has nothing to prove. He already has MVP. But like the media's set talking, saying, "Oh, Lamar Jackson's been figured out and all this." I think he can turn the table here, make a couple plays. And this thing about the defense for the Ravens, good. I like the run defense, and even like the Colts are like their strong suit, of course, is their O line, and they like to run the ball. But like the thing is, like they traded up for Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor, it did not play that much last week, and Jonathan Taylor's production to me has been like a lot less significant than I thought it would be. Now they said he was dealing with an ankle injury. Is that true? I don't know. I mean, that's what the Colts said. It could easily be the case why he didn't get a lot of snaps. But like I got Jonathan Taylor in my fantasy league. I'm benching him this week. I'm not doing that against the Ravens. And I just like anytime I get see a line with like if the Chiefs and the Ravens are have a line like this, I have to hammer them. Good teams win, great teams cover, and this is a week where a great team is going to cover, and I see them winning this by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, well, speaking of that little slogan, good teams win, great teams cover. I think that I've got a team that can win and cover
Dolphins?
I'm gonna be taking the Broncos plus 3.5 against the Falcons.
Man.
Screw you.
I always pick your team. Turn the favor.
If I picked your team, I'd be in the dumpster this season.
No, we covered the spread in 3 games this year.
Okay, but you can agree with this too, especially as a Falcons fan. You see the Falcons with the little minus sign next to them? You gotta hold your horses real quick and say, okay, are the Falcons actually gonna win? Like,
you know you're in trouble whenever the Falcons had that little, like, whenever they're favored, you're just like, oh, immediately fade.
Well, yeah, and just look at the stats behind it. Falcons as a home favorite. This is since
2018.
Since 2018. So the season after the classic 28-3 meme.
No, that was the season after the Philly.
Oh yeah, season after Philly. I can include it since 2017 if you want me to.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't think we had a winning record at home that year anyways. I think all our wins came on the road.
So as the home team in general, 12-16, covered 42.9% of the time. As a home favorite, 10-14, covering 41.7% of the time. Where's home favorite? Oh yeah, I just said home favorite. So yeah, and even better since 2018, because this is what I originally had pulled up. As the home favorite, they're 5-11, covering 31.2% of the time. As the favorite in general, they are 6-14, covering 30%. Since 2018, they've covered 30% of the games that they are the favorite. That is just bad. It's just so bad. Like, yeah. Honestly, I'm not even a huge believer in the Broncos, but that being said, the Broncos are 5-2 against the spread this season. Very surprisingly, you would not think the Broncos are that good. I would give Vic Fangio a whole lot of credit for that defense because even without Von Miller, he has been really putting out some good defensive performances. They've given up like only a handful of before the Chargers game, they only gave up a handful of touchdowns, but they were able to come back against a good Chargers team. Plus 3.5. I like this line. I'm pretty sure I got him in the very, very beginning of the week at +4. But if you're getting more than a field goal against this Falcons team, especially as a team that had a big comeback win, I think you just have to take him regardless of who it is. Other than maybe the Jets or the Jaguars.
Like, I'm not betting on that game because I don't like betting. Like, I would bet on the Falcons this game, but I'm not going to bet against my own team. But yeah, I mean, I said, like, dude, like the Falcons, especially in the new stadium, they play horrible. Like, they're terrible. I don't know what it is. They just don't play well in that stadium. Then they played. I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the wins we had there. I think we've literally won in that stadium 5 times. Yeah, but that's
jeez.
Yeah, we won opening night. I was there.
Nice. That was against the Packers, right?
Yeah, great game.
Big win. Big win.
Yeah, started off 3-0, ended up going 10-6 and lose the NFC division round because Sarkisian wants to put a deaf fullback out wide and then just do a little rollout. God damn it. But anyways, enough of that. What's our next game we're picking? We have
it's your pick, boss.
Oh, okay, yeah. No. Also another game for me is Seahawks -2.5. I got them at against the Bills. I think the Bills here are kind of they're not playing as well as they were in the start of the season. Like Josh Allen's fallen off the last couple of weeks, and the Seahawks proved me wrong last week in that 49ers game as they look elite. Jamal Adams back. Dunlap's going to play. Their new addition. Defense is getting better. I mean, what can I say about their offense? Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. That's all you need to know. Maybe a little Chris Carson on the side if he makes it past a quarter. Doesn't get hurt. But Seahawks -2.5. Whenever I see a lot, like I said, You see like a team of the Seahawks, easily a Super Bowl contender, with -2.5. I'm taking them. I'm gonna ride them. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah, can't complain with that. Seahawks are another really good team against the spread. They're either, I believe, they're also 5-2. I'll pull that up right now. But my next pick, I'm gonna take. I think I'm taking the bait here, but I'm gonna take the Bears +6.5. Um, I originally was liking them at +5.5. Now I see +6.5. The whole thing, and this is mainly just picking the Bears because they have a good defense, like a good physical defense that I think can play well against Ryan Tannehill. Offensively, I'm not sure how they're going to score though. I guess that's just kind of what you take when you take the Bears. You just kind of pray that Nick Foles will just do something or something happens. The ball rolls.
I
um,
yeah, dude, I'm in the same boat with you because I took Bears +6.5, and I just like I bet on a. We both bet on the Bears that Monday Night Football game against the Rams, and they got torched. And it just seemed like a favorable line, but like this Titans team is in a rough spell, and you saw it last week with the Bengals. Like if you're able to neutralize Derrick Henry, which this defense can easily do, and they just put pressure on Ryan Tannehill's face, and they're like, "All right, Tannehill, we shut down your number one offensive option. You got to beat us." Now, Tannehill can easily do that, but like I think his first one to 20 wins this game. Honestly, I'm not crapping on the Titans' offense. It's way better than the Bears' offense. I can name a high school football team that's better than the Bears' offense. But I feel like the Bears' defense is good enough to like slow this team down because they've been in a rough patch, and like you were saying, maybe Nick Foles makes just a couple plays that puts him over the top.
um, is the Vikings line out now? Can you take that one? Because
Dude, I didn't see it when I was looking at it earlier. Let me check. Ugh.
I'll just move on to my next pick then because I like the Texans -6.5. Basically, my strategy the past couple weeks has just been fade the Jaguars. I think that they're a team that is just gonna lose. They're just gonna keep losing. I honestly like we said coming into the season, they had that big win against the Colts, but they've lost every game since. Um, I just fade the Jaguars. That's really it. I think that the Texans had their way with them last matchup. Now with no Minshew, it's just going to be tough on their offense.
Who's the quarterback
Especially
starting again?
because the Jake Luton. I've
Jake
actually
Luton.
watched a decent amount of tape on Jake Luton. Um, the thing is too though is that while the Texans defense sucks, they can at least create some pressure, which is what you don't want if you're taking the Jaguars and you're a fan of Jake Luton. Because Jake Luton, from what I had seen, now I didn't do like a whole giant film analysis on him. I was just watching him mainly because I really liked Isaiah Hodgins, and screw it, more football, I'll take it. But Jake Luton, he's a big kid and he's got a decent arm. I think he's got an underrated arm, especially compared to other evaluators. I think he's got a better arm than people really realize. He's got more of a winded up release than you would think for a big guy, but it works. Um, he ran a pro style offense at Oregon State, a lot of play action, a lot of snaps from under center, getting rid of the ball quick. I think the big issues for Jake Luton though are first, he was kind of like a one read quarterback. So let's see what happens when his first read gets taken away. And second, I wasn't a huge fan of his throwing off platform. I thought that, once the pocket starts to collapse or he has to start rolling out and make a throw on the run, that's where you start to see some issues with Luton. So I think the big matchup for this game is going to be the Texans defensive line against the Jaguars offensive line, which is a matchup the Jaguars could win. It's just I'm not going to buy anything about the Jaguars this week. So take the Texans minus 6.5. I just love this line under a touchdown. I think the Jaguars are losing by at least 7 points. They've lost their past 3 games by 10 plus. They've lost 4 out of their last 5 games by 10 plus. So give me the anything with the Jaguars under a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I like that pick too. Like, the Jags suck. So, my next pick, I got. Oh, I got your team. Yeah, because I picked your
The
team.
Steelers.
Yeah, I got Steelers again. I've been riding them all year. 6-1 against the spread. Playing the Cowboys. Cowboys suck. 14-point spread. I know it's a lot of points, but last week, I mean, the spread for the Jets was 19.5. They couldn't even cover this. This is a hot team. It could be a little bit of a trap game where they just let their foot off the gas, but I don't think so. I mean, I'm a guy, like, if a team keeps on winning me money, I don't care what the line's at. I just see money on the table. I take it.
Okay. Nice. I'm gonna be taking my next pick is gonna be the Panthers plus 10.5 against the Chiefs. This is a wacky line. I know that the Panthers are a team that could get blown out, but to be completely honest, I think this could be a 1-score game. And the fact that I'm getting a half a point over 10 just makes me that much more confident because Panthers played the Saints really, really close. That was a winnable game for them. Obviously, the Saints' offense right now isn't looking as nice as the Chiefs' offense, but I think the Chiefs are, at home are getting a little too many points. I think if I were the bookmaker, I would only give this game about 8.5 points. So with that being said, I think it's just one or 2 points too many for the Chiefs. I think the Panthers are a good candidate to keep this a 1-score game. Teddy Bridgewater should play. If he's not playing, then just run away.
DJ Walker's not winning that game.
Yeah, I'll take it. Just assuming that Teddy Bridgewater will play. If he's not, then I'm just gonna cry a little bit, couple tears of sadness. But I think the Panthers have one of the more underrated defensive groups. It's a young group, so now that we're getting over that halfway point in the season, a lot of these rookies aren't rookies anymore. And I think offensively, like the Panthers are a team that have really shocked us. Matt Rule and
Not last week though.
and Joe Brady have really shocked people with how much offensive production, especially through the air, they've been able to have. Robbie Anderson is looking like one of the steals of the offseason as like that pseudo number one with DJ Moore. And then you might be getting Christian McCaffrey back this week just to add to that production. I know Mike Davis has done a good job filling in for him, but no one's Christian McCaffrey at the end of the day. So I do think that if Teddy Bridgewater is playing and is playing at a good level, that the Panthers could keep this a 1-score game. So I'll take that 10.5.
Pick is on Monday Night Football. It's the matchup of the century. It's the Jets versus the Patriots, and I'm taking Patriots -7. This is a simple bet to me. Jets suck, kind of like with your Jaguars. I'm just gonna fade the Jets. They're terrible, and like I said before, these are two teams that have not thrown a touchdown pass in a while, and one's gonna give, and I think Cam Newton's gonna throw. Not for 1 touchdown, but for 2 touchdowns. Cam Newton's going to get 2 passing touchdowns. Yes. And listen, anybody's defense is good enough to stop the Jets. And dude, if I'm getting the Jets and Patriots at -7 against the Jets, and I understand this isn't the same Patriots team we've seen in the past, but come on, you're not chopping at the bit right now, -7. Give me that. I think that's an easy game to bet on.
All right, so for my last pick, it's going to be a little teaser. Teasers have cooled off a little bit from earlier in the season, but we're still going. We're not giving up on them. So I'm going to be taking a 6-point teaser. I'm going to be getting the Steelers -8, and the Texans at -0.5. So, pretty standard logic here. The Steelers, I'm just getting them to under 10 points. Even though I do think that they'll cover 14, just in case any bull crap happens where the Cowboys may be coming back late in the game or they make it a closer game than expected, I can at least get it under 10. And the Texans, I took their spread straight up, getting them at 0.5. It's basically just picking them to win. And I do think that that is a lock against the Jaguars team that is missing Gardner Minshew.